Any food you make tastes better when you use good ingredients, right? Then, if you take something already delicious like cup noodles and add in the finest, freshest ingredients, what do you get? The ultimate flavor experience. I'll show you who's boss in this gym.
First of all, a quick apology. I know you're all expecting the near analysis, but due to my PC being sent off for repairs, then being sent back because said repairs didn't occur, I can't edit anything too meaty due to my replacement laptop turning into Mount Vesuvius whenever I open my editor for longer than 10 minutes. I'm still determined to get it finished by the end of December at the latest, but if it takes a bit longer than that, then I hope this apology is enough to answer why. So what better time to do a short coffee with Clemps where I give a very brief rundown on my first experience with the long-awaited Final Fantasy XV. Now little old Clempsy decided he'd brave the cold winter's night and queue for the midnight release. Sure enough, the queue went out of the door and part of me was pretty happy to see people still invested in the future of this franchise. I escaped with my prize and oh boy. Oh damn, this is a pretty nice Steelbook edition. Final box rating, a solid Amano out of 10. But now after I've played and completed the game, what are my opinions on it? I didn't like it. I'm just as disappointed as you, but hear me out, and if you like or love the game, I hope you're the kind of person to stick with that opinion no matter what mine is. And just to clarify before I push on, this will be an incredibly brief rundown on my experiences and what I liked and what I didn't enjoy. Expect a full analysis in 2017. I didn't hate the game, in fact I remember a few times where I got absorbed in the open world and the character interactions were genuinely fun. This is for a majority of the game in honesty, and the main driving force to push me on was a dynamic between the four boys. I even made a tweet 8 hours into the game stating that Final Fantasy XV wasn't a bad Final Fantasy, it just wasn't the best. And I still stand behind that. Somewhat, because 8 hours into the game the story was opening up and showing promise that later let me down. And along the lines of being let down, the gameplay really didn't click with me. And in a game where combat kind of overtakes story, it's pretty important that you have fun with what's presented to you. Now I'm a big lover of the So Bad It's Good series Kingdom Hearts, which presents a B-movie tier story but with pretty solid gameplay, at least from 2 onwards. So I'm not objecting against a JRPG having a more action-based style combat system. And this is slightly subjective, but Final Fantasy XV sort of feels like a much less engaging version of Kingdom Hearts 2 gameplay. You're more than welcome to disagree, because who am I to tell you what's fun or not? What really kicked me in the balls and spat on my face were the boss battles, specifically ones against summon spells such as Titan and Leviathan. When you take the incredible soundtrack aside, which provided me with a false feeling of excitement, calling these boss battles is kind of a joke. They're shit. From Leviathan onwards, my feelings towards the game took a drastic turn for the worse, though there was a slight twinge in the back of my head when near the start of the game they introduced some gorgeous cinematic cutscenes. From Kingsglaive and the Omen trailer, the former being a way to show players what the fuck is going on whilst also confusing them simultaneously by showing a character who appears in Kingsglaive but never once in the game itself. But then chapter fucking 13 crawls out from under the floorboards, half finished and covered in sleeping pills. How symbolic. Well, final nail in the coffin. It was obvious. This was the point in the game where they ran out of time. The story quality drops in various ways, which I'll go into more detail in the analysis, and the fact you're walking through bland, factory setting hallways with doors that take 2 to 3 seconds to open makes it flat out boring. It was hard to forgive it beyond this point, and that broke my heart. I'm fine with people laughing at fanboys who are expecting this to be God's next gift to the franchise, but I wasn't one of those fanboys. I was happy with the idea that Final Fantasy XV would bring the mainline titles out from 13's 6-year shadow, and for a large part it does. For many people. Excluding myself. Admittedly, Final Fantasy XIV has already saved the franchise, but maybe it says something that the best Final Fantasy game in years is locked behind a subscription fee. 15 felt like a game that was dragged in multiple different directions by a man whose main goal, whose main ambition, was to please people. But by dragging the game in many directions, it makes it difficult to focus on specific parts being pulled. The story was sadly one of those, and later into the game, it suffered. Hope you got those season passes ready, boys and girls, because if you want to learn more about Gladio, Ignis and Prompto, there'll be paid DLC coming right around the corner. Let's not forget about New Game Plus, which is being added in a fucking patch. Oh, you ran out of time! You ran out of time and it bloody shows. In conclusion, I wish I could have enjoyed 15. I wish I could have been like all of those reviewers who showered the game with glowing praise, but I can't. If you enjoyed 15, then I'm happy for you, but this is my experience with the game. Let's just say that Final Fantasy, taking 14 out of the equation due to being an MMO, is still laying on its deathbed, but you can hear a very faint heartbeat coming from somewhere. All it needs to do now is wake up from its coma. Let's hope those free updates fix your game, Tabata, my friend!
So I ask you, Noct, what's your favorite ingredient? That's what I'm talking about. Minced meat is the key to every perfect cup of noodles. But why stop there? I say we outdo the ordinary. Find ourselves some real good meat that'll surpass perfection. All that's left is to make our noodle dream a reality. First up, the ingredients.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Hope you all enjoyed this shorter episode, and I'll see you all in the near analysis. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you are subscribed, then hit the bell button. This means you can get a notification directly to your phone or email whenever I upload a video. And to be honest, it's much more reliable than a bloody subscription box.